FS Elite at FlightSimExpo 2024 is proudly brought to you by AnyBuilds. Check out their amazing range of scenery, which includes Luton, JFK, Heathrow, and many more across the world.
Okay, so John, Thomas, thank you so much for joining us on stage. Welcome to FlightSimExpo 2024. How are you both doing?
We're doing great. This is awesome. This is fantastic. Such a great turnout. Honestly, just the excitement of the community is just it's the best.
I know, right?
Yeah.
This isn't your first FlightSimExpo either, is it?
It is. It is our second FlightSimExpo. Yeah, we were here in Houston last year, showing off our prototypes, and now we are here with the real deal.
The real deal. And there it is in your hand right now. Amazing. Okay, so I just want to very briefly start, because obviously if this is only your second one, maybe people aren't too sure who Yawman are and who you guys are specifically. John, maybe we'll start with you and then we'll go to Thomas. Just a little bit about yourself and maybe a bit about your history as well in aviation and kind of how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm John Ostrower. I am one of the Yawman co-founders. I linked up with Thomas, who I've known for ages, who came up with this incredible controller and said, hey, I'm doing this thing for Flight Sim. I'm like, hey, I want in. So my day job, I get to write about real-world aviation. But this is a chance to try my hand at Flight Sim, which I have loved since way before I was doing anything in real-world aviation. I've been simming since I was 11, and so it's just a great opportunity to make this as much of my day job as I possibly can.
Awesome. And yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Thomas Neild, and as John said, I actually kind of came up with this idea, and literally built it in my garage, etched circuit boards, 3D printed, and a couple of years later, here we are. We actually have it on the market now. It's kind of surreal, but the energy. But myself, I actually teach. I teach technology subjects, and I teach at University of Southern California on AI system safety. And Yawman is something that I've increasingly putting my time into, just because it really is an effective way to fly and have a very minimalist approach about it.
Switching audio very quickly. Just whilst we talk about that, so Thomas, you said you came up with the inspiration behind the controller itself. Where did that inspiration even come from in the first place then for you?
So I started to have the idea for the controller when I was trying to make handhelds work, and I was expecting my first child. I wanted to be around my family more. I didn't really want to put myself in the den or the office and isolate myself from all of that. So I wanted to compromise. Like, okay, maybe if I have a laptop and I flight simmed, near my family, I could at least be present. And I started to make a wish list that gamepads just typically did not have. And one of the first ideas was the seesaw trigger system, as John's showing right here, tied to a single axis, mechanically linked triggers. And then it's like, of course, it needs to have sliders, it needs to have a trim wheel. And as soon as I had the vernier style poles in my mind, I was like, darn it, I need to actually build this thing and see what happens. Otherwise, I'm always going to wonder.
I mean, that's just incredible. I mean, John, you're kind of like showcasing it off now. What's one of your favorite features? Like wow.
Okay.
If you didn't know we're here now, now you know
we're here. We're here.
Very much here. Sorry, so when you first saw the controller, what kind of made you go, oh, wow, I need to be in on this because this looks awesome?
So when I saw the mechanically linked triggers, that was it. Because, look, flying with an Xbox controller can only get you so far. And so what ultimately we've done, I have a yoke, I've got a throttle, I've got my rotor pedals at home. We're taking effectively 3 devices and giving simmers the value inside of a handheld, right? And so the immersion that you get here is tremendous. So for my favorite feature is the ability to customize this for any type of aircraft, right? So we've got the PMDG 777 on our booth. We're the only ones here who have it. So if you want to try the PMD 777 over on our booth, 348, go see it. So we've got a full profile to control all of the autopilot controls, advanced systems of the aircraft on here. And so that combined with being able to fly GA, like I didn't want to pick one aircraft that I wanted to fly. I wanted to have something that allowed me to fly all the different types of aircraft, because I love all different types of aircraft, and depending on how I'm feeling on a given day. Right. So that really is my favorite feature, is the flexibility that you have designed into this.
so just speaking of like flexibility, it's not, obviously when you have other hardware, it's bulky, it's big, it's heavy, it's metal construction, whereas that is very much a portable device that you can take anywhere. I mean, I was following you guys on like Twitter and stuff, and like pictures of you flying literally on a plane on a plane.
Plane on a plane. Yeah,
section,
exactly.
right?
Exactly. So I love using this when I travel. And so I went around X-Plane on my MacBook Air, sitting in a hotel room, airport lounge, or for me, like when I am at home, like the setup time for my throttle and my yoke and my rudder pedals, it takes a while.
Yeah.
So what the thing that if I'm going on about my things I love about this, I can just sim just plugging it in, and it is always plugged in, and I don't have to set it up. And so if I want to steal 15 minutes before dinner, I can go do that. And so it's that ability to set up quickly and have space in your desk to do whatever else you do. That's possible with this.
That's awesome. So obviously you guys love it. I mean, you can talk
I'm totally biased. I know that. I'm an evangelist. I adore this. This is my baby. It's Thomas's baby.
Yeah.
And so we're totally biased there. We know that. Yeah.
And so you're saying this is your second one. We were talking a little bit backstage before. Like our booth has been super busy already. I mean, there's only like 10:30 or something at the moment, but. The community reception, how's that been? What feedback have you had so far on your controller?
Great question. So it's really interesting. People think of a handheld controller, and they don't immediately associate it to flight sim. And I don't blame them. No one's ever done it before. And so we're trying to do something that no one's ever done before. So what it really has required is getting it in people's hands. And when people come by and they see it and they understand that when you get your hands on with it, it actually gives you the immersion that you'd come to expect from bigger hardware. And so, what goes on online and that discussion, and that's always an interesting community from the feedback that we get. But when people really get their hands on it, they really get it. Yeah. And so, our booth has been swamped this morning. People they've heard about us online, they want to try it, they want to dive in. See it firsthand, and honestly, we've been swamped. It's been great.
And something to add to that too, one of the great ironies is that one of our biggest customer bases have been pilots. Yeah. And we're sold on Sporty's Pilot Shop for that reason. And they became our retailer very early in the process, and it makes sense because they're busy, they're always on the go. Also, I've talked to many pilots. Just like when I get home, I don't necessarily want to go and create a whole flight sim rig. I kind of want to keep my desk at minimal and use for the desk purposes as well. We also have busy professionals. We get doctors and lawyers and other people buying the controller who, as John said, probably have like 15-20 minutes before dinner to fly, and they just like to take those more opportunities to fly and have those pockets of time to do so.
I've also done long 3-4 hour flights with this as well. Just this, almost my hands completely off the mouse. Yeah. And that's the power of this. We've really given folks the opportunity to fly quickly or fly for a long time, depending on what they want to do.
I think that's very interesting that you bring that up, because I guess on first look you might think this is purely just a very short flight experience, but you've obviously designed it in a way that can be used for all types of flying. So when you were designing this initially, it's probably more of a question for you. What challenges did you come across, and what feedback did you get through kind of the development process before you got to the final build today?
Well, from the design perspective, there was a bit of playing with the arrangement and the controls and trying to figure out what is delegated to the left hand versus the right hand, what things are going to be used simultaneously, and I'd say that was probably the largest aspect of design, is trying to optimize the ergonomics as much as possible, and I think that we've optimized it. And granted, this is we're not going to be a one product company, but it just works. It just works, and you're able to do autopilot. You're able to hand fly, and you're able to get a combinatorial explosion of functionality out of it.
Sure. So you just mentioned you're not going to be a one-product company. Can you tease maybe what you've got coming?
Yeah. Nothing to announce today. We've gotten so much feedback from our rapidly growing user base, from folks who are on different platforms. I mean, we know that this is not Xbox compatible yet, It is a wired device. There are reasons for that that were made a whole heck of a lot of sense during designing a first generation product. But yes, we hear you, right? We know what the community wants, and we love that. And so there was a whole group out there that really wants this also for things like iOS, for example, Xbox. And so yeah, we are absolutely thinking about how we do that. We're not done yet, but nothing to announce today.
Awesome. Yeah. Great. I mean, thank you so much for your time today.
Absolutely.
I don't know if anyone in the audience has any questions for these guys at all. Got a couple down here.
We're going to have color options.
Color options.
Color options.
We're working on that. So, but yes, this is our main product right now. Yeah. Great question.
Excellent. Yourself.
Yeah, rudder is self-centering. Yeah, so it's on the internal mechanism is on a spring, and getting that physics right was one of our big challenges. But yeah.
Can you turn off the self-centering just in case you have to use your other hand to reach for your mouse or do something else on the computer, or is it always self-centering?
Well, you can keep one hand on and hold the rudder in that position still. You can maintain a rudder position with just one hand.
If you want to go up on the right-hand side, is there a way to catch your finger on the unit? I guess I have to try it.
Come on over to the booth and try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about force feedback?
Force feedback. So there's not force feedback in this model.
Do you consider making a premium product that is maybe higher tier, higher price, but has these kinds of advanced functionality? Because the patent has expired, right?
Yeah, it is patented. Yeah, and that's something that's really important for us in terms of protecting the overall IP of everything working together. Again, we're getting the feedback around what people want for a future product and what they're thinking about, and force feedback is on that list, obviously. So it's something that we're in the realm of things that we're looking at.
Awesome. Cool. We have time for one more question out there. Perfect. Awesome. Well, John, Thomas, thank you so much for joining us on stage. I'm so sorry about some of the technical issues.
No worries, all goodness.
But hopefully you guys have enjoyed that and learned something about Yawman today. As again, please do check them out at their booth. They've got this incredible controller and the PMG 777. So 2 very good reasons to come visit.
Absolutely. Yep. 348. We're right next to our friends at Infinite Flight, and we are compatible with Infinite Flight on Android, and it works beautifully. You can try that too. So we've got great friends in the community. Come on by. 348. Try PMDG. Try Infinite Flight. Try X-Plane with us. It'll actually change how you sim. Thanks.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.